Hi, I'm LaShawn Jenkins with the Notary Institution. I coach and mentor Notary Signing Agents on how they can be successful in the Notary Signing Agent business. Every Tuesday and Thursday, I have videos on how you can become a successful Notary Signing Agent. I provide tips in those videos every Tuesday and Thursday, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. So today's video is going to be about my first check as a loan signing agent. So when I first started out, when I received my first check, I actually was shocked and I was pretty happy because it actually took a whole lot of work just to even get that paycheck. And not only that, I made a lot of mistakes when I first took on my first loan signing. So the first thing that happened was, first they called me at the very last minute. This was my very first assignment. So they called me like about 11 o'clock that day and asked me could I do a sign-in at 5 o'clock that evening. And I was like, yeah. I went for it, did it, because I figured I had everything. I had a printer. I had a lot of the supplies that I was told that I needed, I had. So I took on the signing on top of, probably didn't get home till about 1:30, 2 o'clock or something, because I was actually out running errands when I received my phone call. And I received this phone call basically, I didn't even, at that point in time, I never actually signed up for any signing companies or anything. I just had listed myself on SnapDocs and Notary Cafe and Notary Rotary at that point in time. That was really before when I even had a website, is when I first got my first loan signing appointment. So I get home, I start printing out the documents. And while I was printing, I noticed that some of the documents weren't printing correctly, or it looked like they was like cut off. So, I had to stop the printer and had to figure out, how to adjust my paper settings and everything like that. And mind you, the signing was at 5 o'clock. So I always probably spent maybe about 2 hours or so just trying to figure it out on how the documents need to be printed. So once when I figured it out, and that was also at that time when I didn't have legal size paper. I just had letter size paper because I assumed that the legal size wasn't needed. So I spent about 2 hours trying to get the printed signatures correct. So I was finally able to get them corrected. And while I was in the middle of printing, my printer ran out of ink. And at that point in time, I didn't have the LaserJet printer like I was supposed to have. All I had was just a printer that I thought was a workhorse, but it wasn't. I ran out of toner in the middle of the printer. So I had to stop what I'm doing, and the Office Max is not close to where I'm at, from where I was from. It was about a 30-minute drive. And I went to Office Max and went and got the ink. So then I come back, I've changed everything up, and I realized I ran out of paper. And I ran out of paper. I had enough paper, but I really ran out of paper because I messed up on a lot of the documents. Some of them were printing incorrectly, and I kept reprinting and reprinting. And that was at that point in time I didn't know how to print the documents. So I spent a lot of time printing documents. But the good thing is I was on time. I didn't have none of the paperwork organized. I wasn't able to even look through the documents because I was spending so much time trying to print the documents that I just figured I'd just take it from there. So when I get there, I'm nervous, nervous about the whole loan signing thing. The borrowers, they were pretty nice. It was a really nice home, nice clean home. So I was excited to actually be there. So I'm halfway going through the documents, and I realized that the documents were still cut off. And a lot of them were cut off. And also I realized I had like double copies because on how I was printing copies, and the copies were like right behind it. So I had them signing the same paper over and over again, and I didn't realize that it was only doing that because of my printed settings on how I had it set. So I'm halfway through. Some of the documents were not printed correctly. So I probably was already been there a whole hour just going through trying to get them to sign the documents. So after I realized that the documents were cut off. I actually had to call the signing company and let them know, tell them what was going on, and I ended up coming back out there another day. And I did that, and after I came back the next day, the borrowers, luckily they were nice people. They wasn't upset, but I had to basically go out there. They wasn't paying me another trip fee to go out there. And on top of that, I had to go out there before the documents, so that the documents, I can send them off in time for the next day delivery. And that was about 12 o'clock. So I got up early that morning, I went back out there, and then it was really hectic. And then when I got back, they also wanted me to scan the documents in. And I didn't understand how to do it. I want to say I scanned the documents as, when it was scanning in page by page. So it didn't combine them as one PDF as it should. And that is again from me not having my printer settings correctly, that I realized that you can scan a packet and put it as one PDF. I thought that I had to scan them in and then just drag them over and try to combine the documents like that. So that took up a whole lot of my time. And then I went to FedEx and I was able to get it shipped off, but all of that really could have just been avoided if I would have got on the phone and called my mentor. And I didn't call them because I thought I had it, but really I didn't have it. I didn't know what I was doing really at all. But the point is, I actually went in there and I jumped in and just did it, because that was the only way for me to learn. A lot of notary signing agents that I know, when they first starting off, they'll have their notary license for maybe 2 to 3 years, or they will had it for a while, and a lot of people are scared, just to simply do a loan signing. And to be honest, it doesn't matter. You're not gonna, if you mess up, you mess up, but as long as you learn from your mistake, you'll be fine. So I highly encourage, if you haven't done a loan signing and you are a notary signing agent, or you already have your notary commission, I highly encourage you take a notary signing agent course, get some training, and then when you get the training, just hop right in and take an assignment, because you won't know. I can sit here and I can teach you everything. You can watch every single video, but to be honest, if you're watching every video and not taking any action with it, it really doesn't matter. You won't learn anything. You're just watching videos. But after I was able to get the FedEx, I started researching. Sometimes there's signing companies that don't pay, and when I took the assignment, I didn't even know the company or nothing. They just sent me the emails, and I just took the assignment. And then I happened to look up the name, and I was like, oh, I said, they don't pay. But luckily for my advantage, they do pay. The assignment, my first assignment was $150, and I only had to go 20 minutes, about 25 minutes up the street. Well, more like 30, but it's not that far. It's just the fact of how the roads here, and anybody that's in Texas know that the roads are miles long, so sometimes it could take you 30 minutes just to go right across town or something like that. But my first check was $150. I want to say I got my check like at least within 30 days is when I received my first check. And when I received my first check, that's when I realized, like, okay, this is an actual business that I can do. So I started spending more time studying and learning how to present the documents, how to explain documents that I never seen before. Because to be honest, it's hard to train. I won't say it's hard, but different loan packages will have different documents in there, and sometimes as instructors we can't receive every single form, because there's forms being produced every day that's new that I may not have seen before, or others may not have seen before. So with that being said, just make sure that when you first start out, and if you want to earn the money, make sure that you do invest in some type of mentor, some type of training course. And also you have to make sure that you're willing to take the action. Apply that knowledge, basically, and what you learn from your mentor and also your courses. And make sure you have your supplies on hand before you take a notary appointment. Make sure you have your seal. Make sure your seal is working. The biggest thing about the loan signings is preparation. As long as you are prepared and you learn how to prepare yourself, you're always going to be able to take a loan signing. Right now, I can take a loan signing at any given moment now. And I can do that with or without me going through the documents. I can do that if I go through the documents and separate them and pre-fill the notary acknowledgments. I can take on the signing right now. And I don't need to go through the documents to know what's going on. I can take on any signing. And, I'm very confident I can take on any signing at any moment at this moment, only because I know I learned the documents. I learned how to be prepared. And as long as I'm prepared for the signing, I have everything set up. I always have toner here. I always have paper. My printer is always working. And if it's not, I do have a different alternative to print. So with that being said, always make sure you're prepared, and you can make money as a notary signing agent. In case you was wondering, a lot of people say they can and they don't get clients, but trust me, you can. I've done it, and I'm sure everyone else can do it. But I just wanted to give you a quick brief story about how I received my first check as a notary signing agent. If you like my channel, you're more than welcome to subscribe down below. And also, don't forget, every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, we have the Notary Signing Agent series where you can learn tips on how you can be successful. Thank you, and everyone, y'all have a great day.